Hello, hello, hello. This is Tom from Tom and Ruth Philippine Adventures. Hopefully, the sound's coming in fine. You don't hear the background noise of the roosters and the kids crying and the motorcycles and the horns. But today, this is a response to Old Dog New Tricks and the two guys he had with him on the video they just recently did. And I tell you what, I wanted to do a video about this and kind of go through exactly of the pains. And it's exactly what they're talking about that I've really said before, but I've really not said it in a way where I had all the guys sit down and talk the way it is. And this is really a good video. And this is just the way it is here in the Philippines. They talked about type A personality. If you have a type A personality and you're coming here to the Philippines and you really just have a type A that you can't take it, and you say you things really get on your nerves and your patience level, uh, and you need to, kind of like get out and socialize and things like that, it may not be the place for you. That's kind of like where I'm at. That's my fault. But my plans were to leave, and COVID hit.
And announced that he was leaving and never coming back.
Oh,
And that
all right.
he just couldn't handle all of the abnormalities that exist out here. So I'm going to rely on you guys. I'm not going to tell his story. Tell me your story. Jason, you can start it off as to one or two things that just gets under your nerves.
Right off the top, and you'll hear this over and over, it's the noise.
Yeah.
Just let me give you a little tiny example. I live on a slight grade, and the street, I have to close.
And it didn't work out. So we're waiting now till that happens. And so you have to kind of plan things. And these are just things that if you're really thinking about coming here, maybe you should really look at these topics in general and think. Don't sell everything you have in the States before you watch this video or even watch Old Dog's video. Because these guys bring up some great points. And it's exactly what I've been saying all along in a video, a video, a video. So today we're going to do this, and I'll have Old Dog in there. Way too loud here. It depends on where you live, and it is very loud here. It is so loud. Sometimes you're not going to be able to sleep at night. Karaoke is going to be going on. Roosters, dogs barking all night. If you have a dog, a female dog, all the males going to be there all night, and it's going to go on and on and on and on. So you may have a hard time. Luckily, where we're at now, we can sleep throughout the night.
And they like it loud here.
Yeah, they like it loud.
Filipinos like it loud.
I don't think they have rules like muffler, things like that.
Yeah.
There are
they're not
actually, there's
enforced.
noise ordinances, and I know it's supposed to shut off at 10. And I have found, thankfully, that in my neighborhood, they observe that. But they will play everything. Speaking of 10, they turn it up to 10.
Yeah.
And it gets all distorted if they're doing karaoke or having a party.
Yep.
Instead of putting it at 5 where it's clear,
A lot of
everybody
rooster,
can hear.
Rooster noise.
Roosters,
Can't help that.
dogs.
It's an animal. Dogs barking.
Night without a lot of issues. But the roosters and the dogs and the partying and the karaoke till 2, 3, 4 a.m. And they have laws on it, but this is the way it is. So, talking loud. Have you ever been in a restaurant where somebody's talking and they have this loud and say, hey man, I just made the sale, and they're talking really loud and they're going on and on and on. Well, sometimes Filipino will do that.
And lets everybody
Everybody
around
know.
him hear it. Well, take that guy and put him over here, and that's everybody.
Everybody. Yeah.
They're all talking as loud as they possibly can, especially on a phone. And so finding just a little peace and quiet or serenity, we're coming here to Forest Camp, we found it.
Yeah.
But it's one of the rare places where you can come and just meditate, read a book, relax, and have a conversation.
Yeah.
So you be in a restaurant or you be at the mall or you be somewhere and that happens. They just decide that they're going to hold a conversation and they're going to just let it out there. And they're loud. They're very loud. In other words, they talk a normal but voice. Where, I would tone mine down and talk like this. They would just be loud, 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 like on a bus. You hear the whole conversation. If I know Filipino, I know what was going on in this person's life. So I got this thing here that I'm doing. I'm going to insert this. White skin tax, foreigner tax. If you're like someone, and I've been targeting this before, and I've been hit with this before, that you're going to have what they call the white skin tax. If they see
To
you,
a store, prices are pretty fixed, but you buy something in the market or whatever, when you show up with this face, it's there's a white tax. or a foreigner tax is what it really is. And you don't know what that is. So most of the foreigners will send their girlfriends or their friends to go buy stuff. And if that irritates you, if you find that process irritating, well, it's always going to irritate you. It just doesn't go away.
Right.
So that foreigner tax. Now, understand, of course, you're getting it very cheap to begin with. But some people have a philosophy of you're cheating me, and if you feel that way, man, it's going to just grind on you. It's going to grind, and because it'll never go away, it becomes a bigger issue.
You going to buy something at a store, they're going to come and actually say, "Hey, I can charge more taxis," and I get hit up with this all the time. Is it an everyday occurrence? Oh yeah, yeah. If I go to the market with Ruth, it's an everyday occurrence. If I go to town and go to the store or wherever I go, it's an everyday occurrence. A taxi driver may decide to do it. Does it happen all the time? Yeah, it does. Does it happen so much it can be annoying? Yes. And do you find yourself holding in and that annoys you and another thing annoys you and another thing annoys you? Yes, I find myself getting very angry. It's like old dog said, do I go out today or do I just stay in today? And you'll hear that in this video. They call blackouts blackout. A blackout is no power. They call them brownouts here. A blackout is no power. Brownout is where the power is. It's just going dim, 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 dim.
Without any rhyme or reason. Power just blacks out for a couple hours in the middle of the night, and you need the aircon or a fan or something because it gets stifling hot inside your house or apartment without any kind of air movement. And so the power, there's no guarantee. It could happen any day, any time.
I'm kind of chuckling over here because you actually took my thunder when you said that it's a blackout. You got to understand, nobody calls it a blackout.
No,
it's a brownout. Well, a brownout is where the electricity kind of dims and the lights get brown.
I tried that. I tried.
And you see the surge. You guys in the house and you see the surges coming in. It surges your power. That's when your appliances don't last here. If you get an appliance the last 5 years, you're doing really good, especially refrigerators, washing machines, things like that, because the power surges here are just abnormal. The reason why they have brownouts, they call them blackouts, is because they're trying to take the overload on one side of an area and they'll take it off and put it on another. And then it causes the system to shut down. And that's the reason they have so many blackouts. The country's not made for what they have. You build a new mall, how many kilowatts does that thing use in a day? So you can kind of see the dilemma they're in. And the power plants are substandard. They need to get the plant going, the nuclear power plant up north. Does it really bother you sometimes when the power's out? You know, it does me. I have to tell you, it drives me crazy. Say you're going to get a driver's license in a bank in each area. Is it going to be hard for you? It can be. So you go into the bank and you're going to get a driver's license.
License or...
Well, I've been there twice now.
Tell us about your driver's license.
So you have to have a passport, of course. I had that. And you got to take an exam, a medical exam, and I paid for that. And that's a joke in itself because I'm wearing corrective lenses and I take medications, but the lady fills it out. It says no medications, no corrective lenses needed. Okay, I mean, it's just, and you pay 400, so it's only 400 pesos. It's not a lot of money. What is that? $8 okay, US. So, and
it can be quite frustrating because you're going to say, okay, I can go here. They're going to tell you, well, you need this, this, this. And then you go back and they may tell you can't get this. I mean, I've been through all this. What they're going through down in Duma is the same thing I got through. And I was here before Paul and all these other guys were here. I don't know about the other two, but I was here before Paul. And I've been dealing with this in the same manner. But just as they are, and we're all in the same boat. Like, how do you deal with it? How do you manage it? So it's about managing your time and managing and not letting things get to you. If things, last week a lot of guys are at the pub. A lot of times what happens is if things get to you so bad, you just got to get up and walk away and hope that you can walk down the street without, hi Joe, hi Joe, hi Joe, hi Joe, or you can walk down the road without anybody that hopefully they like you in your area, that they like you. Because a lot of areas, not all Filipino love foreigner. It's just the way it is. Visa extensions are 2 months or 6 months. Visa extensions, depending on where you go, are always 2 months. Some are given 6 months at a time. And
Sir, we can't give you your driver's license because you have to have 6 months on your visa. But you can only get a visa for 6 months. Okay? Now they changed the rule. You can only get a visa for 2 months, I believe.
I think the 6 is still on the table.
It's still on the table.
Yeah.
Here in Duma, they won't let you do 6 anymore. So they said, okay, well, you're going to have to go get a 1 month. Okay? When I went there, and so I have a full month, and then during that month get a 6 month, which extends after the 1 month. So I have three weeks plus to go in there to get my driver's license. It's just I think they made that rule up. Sometimes the rules just change based on the person that you have behind the counter.
That's true. We were talking earlier. Monday you can go in and see a guy named Bob, and he says there's no way, no how. And then that's because he really didn't know how to do it, so he just wanted to get rid of you. And then on Tuesday you see, Frank, and Frank says no problem.
You really
do this and that.
Make the rules up.
And the thing is on that, you're talking about...
They talk about this briefly and all the hassles that they went through. I went through them before. Now I have a 13A, and thank goodness I just pay the 300 peso a year, and I just go on. I don't worry about it, because if I had worried about that, I did worry about it. We had so many hassles. It took us a long time to get my visa, and I won't even go into that. That's another video in itself, at least an hour video. Bank accounts. For me, I decided not to, but they tell their experiences here on how to get the bank accounts and what they went through. I decided not to do a bank account for me. Ruth has a bank account, so who cares? She has a bank account. That's all that matters. And that's the most important thing. She has an account. She can put some money in. And I can add money in her account. So if we need money, Ruth can get it out for us, and we can go on, because, we're a loving couple. It's the same with her. I tell her, hey, I got so much on your card, go pull it out, and for groceries, whatever. So rental agreements, land management, make sure you get that done by a proper attorney. You're going to find...
We don't allow guests to be in the pool. Only the tenants can go in the pool. Oh, I pulled out my rental agreement. It doesn't say anything in there about that. Oh, but that's a fact. That's just a fact. Oh, dog. Oh, you can't have a dog. Well, there's nothing in here about pets. There's nothing written about pets.
Next door neighbor has a dog.
Yeah, my neighbor above me has a dog. Okay. Well, he's been here a longer time. Well, I'll be here a long time too in a few years. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's just a lot of lacking. And then they wanted me to notarize the lease agreement. So they had me sign the notary page, okay, and sign every page, and then took it to the lawyer to guarantee my signature.
Right.
That doesn't work. That doesn't happen. I never met the lawyer.
But yes, it does work.
Yeah. And you make it really well. Good point. That's exactly what we're talking about. For some guys, that will drive you up a creek.
Well, yeah, because, I was a notary. I had a logbook, and I had to see your driver's license, and I had to write out all this stuff and go through all this hoopla, have you sign in front of me, then have you sign the document, and then compare this.
That's going to be very frustrating for you. You're going to find it's very... I'm not going to tell you how long it took for Ruth to get how long did it take to get the deed and the papers, Ruth, on our house? At least 2 years, right? Maybe a little longer, give or take, because you'd go and need to go to the land office, and then end up going somewhere else, and then somewhere else, and somewhere else. She can tell you all the places, but it was quite frustrating. So if you buy something, be very careful in buying anything. If you rent something or lease something, make sure the agreements are up to the standards. They tell their experiences in here, and I think it's funny stories, and it makes me laugh, because as I'm watching this, I went through the same thing and are still going through the same thing. Order food. Getting food at a restaurant, the way you like it, it's not going to be always the same. So as you see in this...
And if you go to a restaurant, here's another one. It's another pet peeve. But I just want eggs and bacon. I don't want toast. I don't eat carbs, okay? I just want eggs and bacon. Well, it comes with rice. I don't want the rice. Okay? Well, they can't leave it off. They can't bring you just eggs and bacon, okay? You have to find something on the menu, and it has to be exactly the way the menu is, okay? So I said, okay, just put it in a separate bowl.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense, because I'm not going to eat it, but they have to make it.
Video coming up, you're going to see how they talk about that in general, and you're going to see that they can explain their hassles. We just kind of go with the flow. I just go with the flow. If food's not good, I do the best with it I can. Eat what I want to eat. If I don't like it at all, I don't eat. We just go to another restaurant and I spend more money. It happens. Yes, it happens all the time. There's many times where I go to a restaurant, it's not enough food. It's very little food. One cup of rice, small cup of rice, and one or two small pieces of meat is not enough for me. I need a little more than that. Okay, last one on the list, and you're going to hear these guys talk about this: sarcasm. Smart remarks, attitude, can cause problems. Be careful on the word.
The literalness of most Filipinos. Uh, wow. Now, I'm not a jokester. I don't have a funny personality. I wish I had, but I'm lousy at telling jokes. All right. But I have an American sense of humor. And so every once in a while, I'll throw something in there and they look at me like, what a jerk. Because what I
Yeah,
said,
they don't get the jokes.
if it's understood literally, well, I'm being a real jerk. I'm trying
Yeah.
to find a nice word. And because they're so literal. And part of that is the language thing. It's boy, will that suck you in. If you don't have this flexibility with language, and hey, let's face it, a lot of guys are not linguistically flexible. You know, so you say it the way you say it, and they interpret it differently. And you come over here and it's seductive because most people speak some English. A large percentage of people are fluent, but it's not all the way to that.
Yeah, in fact, just be careful on sarcasm and words that you say because you really don't know. I mean, we've been around a lot of teachers that come to my house and that uh, will not speak any English because their English is not that good, and or teachers that are at someone's house and they're there and they don't want to talk to me because their English is not good. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, they just don't feel comfortable around someone that actually speaks the language. It's understandable. I mean, I would be kind of the same way, but the English these days are taught differently than the words, you know, than what we're accustomed to. Uh, a small example would be this. I said something to R. I go in a room last night, and she says, I said, "Excuse me, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you," because she was talking as I'm walking out of my room, and she's talking, and I asked her 3 times. She says, "I'm not talking to you." Well, that's their answer. You know, their answer is, "I'm not talking to you." So I explained to her later on that is not proper English. Proper English would be, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I was studying out loud and I was speaking the words out loud." And I said, "You need to explain yourself so someone can understand." Instead of being, "That was disrespectful remark," and she wasn't aware that it was disrespectful, and because people will take that wrong. Well, you know, what do you mean not speaking to me? You're talking to me. So, as you know, so you have to kind of like be prepared for that. And things will get on you. Things will make you nervous and upset, and you will carry it on. It's like they talked about in this video. More than anything else, one thing leads to another, and you find yourself: should I go out today, or should I just stay home? And in a lot of cases, a lot of guys stay home instead of going out and dealing with it. And it's really sad to say, just the way it is. When you're living in a country that you're one born and raised at, the karaoke, the noise, the barking, the begging, the kids, all that and above, it can really get to you after a period of time. God bless you guys, and I'll see you next time.